Okay, hey, this is Sean. I'm here with Brady Pasola, and he's proposing to do a training on water purification. Brady, why is this one important?
Why is water purification important? Well, let's ask ourselves, why is water important? Well, that's the first thing that we need in any survival situation. We can last a long time without food, but water is one of those things that we definitely need. Our body runs off water. It's a way for us to survive. They always go by the rule of the threes, right? 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, and 3 months without people. Believe it or not. So, water, in a perfect scenario, you can last 3 days without water in perfect conditions. And let's be honest, not all survival scenarios are at all perfect. Otherwise, we'd just be camping, wouldn't we? So, we need to know how to find water. Where do we look? We look in areas. We do further research, actually. Before we go out into any scenario that we decide to put ourselves in, or we go camping or anything like that, we need to know where we find water. In an urban survival environment, we need to know where in our neighborhood we need to find water. And in the woods, we need to find indications that will lead us to water. Types of vegetation often grow near water.
So it's not just purifying, you have to find the water source that you can then purify. So this is really like a two-part training is what you're proposing here.
Indeed, you got to know where to find water at. And like, there's natural cues. Birds, bees. Bees will oftentimes hover around areas to find water.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, in the desert, it's hard to do that since you're producing so much moisture. They tend to like human beings as well. When you go out there and you look for water, you'll start to see the cues and find them, and you'll actually be able to identify them pretty easily. In the desert, it's not so easy, but in wilderness environments, it's definitely easier to find in higher elevations and in woodland type environments.
What are some of the methods that you advise in terms of purifying water once you do find it?
There's a couple different methods. There's purification and there's filtration. Filtration is simply just getting all the bad and gunky stuff out of the water and then going drinking from there, which isn't quite as advisable as purifying the water is. But if you're in a rush and you've been going for a few days without water and you really think like you need to drink the water regardless, do what you got to do. It takes about 2 weeks for Jardy to set in. However, if you drink some bad water, sometimes it can even take just 24 hours. And if you're throwing up or suffering from diarrhea, you're going to dehydrate yourself and die pretty quickly. It's always important to try and purify the water first. And purifying water, the 100% way of being able to drink that water is through boiling it, bringing it up to a boil and keeping it there for a few minutes over a fire if you can make that fire.
Hmm.
Purification is really important. There's different methods of purifying your water, and there's our filtration methods, which are actually very reliable for outdoor use, uh, like the Life Straw, for instance. A Life Straw is only $20 at the store, and you can use it in scenarios. Heck, I mean, they give these things out to third world countries and places like Africa, or continents like Africa, or in like countries like Ethiopia and Somalia, where water is very scarce out there, and the only type of water they have is really crappy water. Well, they use the Life Straw to survive off that thing. So if that's any indication, the reliability of a tool like that, and it's used for you out in the wilderness, boy, I'd say go ahead and snatch one up if you can. The other way is, like I said, is just boiling it. Filtration, primitive filtration, they have different types, like three-tier filtration, where you have a tripod of different materials. On the top, you have gravel, grass, and on the second tier, you have uh, sand, very fine sand, and then on the bottom you have sand with charcoal, and so the water filters through there and gets all the bacteria and all the gunk and stuff into a bottle. But again, that's not 100%. 100% is boiling water. If you want to learn how to make a fire, look for other videos.
Sure. And Brady did a training with us on fire making. That was the pilot episode. So if you want to see more, I'll paste that in the show notes below, just so you can get an idea of, obviously Brady really knows what he's doing here. He's done this stuff. You teach for San Diego School of Survival. That's
I do. I'm the owner, CEO of San Diego School of Survival here in San Diego. I've been doing it for about 3 years now with many different types of students, both military, law enforcement, and civilian.
Cool. All right, so water purification, definitely an important one. If you want to see this training brought to reality, go ahead and pledge on the right. Brady, thanks for your time. We hope to see you, and this sounds like an excellent training.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll see you then.